crux is that you should not be creating multiple versions of the same thing as a business owner. You should hopefully be creating the MVP, minimum viable product, and then getting something like ChatGPT to actually iterate on it and create variations of that. You do not want to be starting with carte blanche like ever. Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be discussing how ChatGPT can be used to up-level your digital marketing, your social media marketing, and your content marketing strategies. I'm going to be breaking down some of the key ways in which I have found ChatGPT to be super duper useful for you and I as digital marketing creators. It really is set to revolutionize the things like mundane tasks that we're doing but probably shouldn't be, and actually unleash the power of AI to help us in this fast-paced and ever-changing landscape. So if that sounds good, then please do keep on watching. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Megs, and every week I release tech tutorials helping you do digital better. Alright, so the first way in which ChatGPT is totally overhauling digital marketing is through the customer service space. So a lot of what digital marketing is actually serving to do is put information that is in your head, in the business owner's mind and heart, into the target audience's hands, really. And so if you think about it in that way, ChatGPT is really handy to tick off some of those customer service queries. And many of those questions are things like, why would I pick your service over another service? Or what is your unique differentiator? Or what can I expect if I buy your online course? So anything that speaks to those sorts of needs is going to be super easy to transform using ChatGPT. Whether you're using, for example, your website, your social media, or your messaging apps, you can use ChatGPT to create the content that is going to get into the mind of someone who is needing your counsel, needing your support, needing your advice, producing that content at scale and making it create things like FAQs for your website. You don't know how many times I log into someone's website and I'm like, I don't know where you are. I don't know how you're planning to assist me with this need or want that I have. It's just unclear. And I think it's because we don't want to create reams and reams of content as small business owners or business owners in general. And so just by using ChatGPT to answer some of those FAQs is going to be pivotal. So the way in which you could do this is have a little audit in your email inbox and see what are those questions that are coming up time and again. Produce a really rich repository using ChatGPT of answers to those questions and putting it in a super visible place on your website. It's also going to help you from an SEO perspective because of course you're going to be nailing those keywords too. Another way in which you can use ChatGPT from a digital marketing standpoint is through lead generation and lead nurturing, lead qualifying, pretty much anything to do with trying to work out how legitimate a lead is. So if you get someone to answer a bunch of questions which ChatGPT can create for you, you can then limit what you're needing to ask the customer upfront in order to diagnose their problem or recommend a product or service. You can really automate this whole flow. And I often find with service providers, how many times are they asking the exact same 10 questions up front when you meet with them? It's like, how long have you been having this problem for? What are the ways in which you've been trying to address this problem? It's all kind of stuff that you could cut out by asking those questions up front and qualifying that lead when you create it. So then when you're storing it into a CRM platform, let's say, you already have all of that information in terms of where it feels like someone is in their journey and what you can provide that's most accurately going to help them get results and transform their life in some amazing way. The third way is content marketing. So content marketing is, of course, incredibly time consuming because you're having to produce copywriting, you're having to produce social media posts, you're having to produce reels ideas, you're having to do a whole lot of heavy lifting that can actually be supported from ChatGPT's perspective. For example, you can ask it to write your email funnels, you can ask it to write your landing pages, you can ask it to answer 10 similar emails and have that kind of stored in a particular place on your computer, like let's say Notion, if you use Notion, where you can actually just refer to that content and easily have it on hand. So from a content marketing standpoint, it's an absolute game changer. It can also produce the topic ideas, which I think is one way that I don't think people are using it to its max capacity. Like let's say, for example, you're a dermatology office and you're wanting to get across the dangers of sun exposure. It's going to be able to give you 10 reels ideas, 10 video hooks, 10 blog post concepts about how to get that point across. And so instead of you consistently conveying something in the same way, it feels like you're beating the same drum, ask it for content marketing ideas that are going to help you to express that point a little bit more creatively. All right, everyone in digital marketing talks about A/B testing because, of course, that is one of the key things that is different about digital marketing than other sorts of marketing. It is 100% measurable, which means you can trial different landing pages, you can tweak copy, you can tweak whether a lifestyle image performs better than a product image, performs better than an image of your dog. But people are not doing that because they don't want to produce 30 versions of the same ad. Where now with ChatGPT, you can produce one Facebook ad that you think this is going to work and ask it to produce 29 more versions of that and then run genuine A/B testing, whether that's from an email standpoint, from a social media marketing standpoint. The crux is that you should not be creating multiple versions of the same thing as a business owner. You should hopefully be creating the MVP, minimum viable product, and then getting something like ChatGPT to actually iterate on it and create variations of that. And that, of course, is A/B testing at its core. You can also integrate ChatGPT with chatbots. You guys know that I love talking about things like WhatsApp bots, Facebook Messenger bots, if you're in countries where WhatsApp isn't as big, can all be integrated with ChatGPT, and it's going to allow you to have less linear conversations, but actually more organic ones because, of course, ChatGPT uses natural language processing. So instead of it just being like a very basic if this then that kind of a scenario, you can actually employ the technology behind ChatGPT and pull it into something like a bot so that it can really help your users or your prospective users to understand what it is that you're trying to help them solve. If you're using a content creation spreadsheet to keep track of things like captions that you've written for your reels or for your Instagram posts, and you have that stored somewhere, it's going to be a lovely repository for you to then go and assimilate, copy and paste all that information into ChatGPT and say, based on these 12 captions, please give me 12 more. It's going to be able to speak like you, especially if you tell it to keep the same tone of voice, keep the same length of Instagram caption, and produce similar but different captions. And it's going to help you to think of things in slightly different ways. Like, for example, the way that it can structure it with emojis and bullet points is really impressive. I'm always amazed by how well it can replicate your tone of voice. It doesn't even have to be captions that you've written. It could be competitor captions that you're wanting to paraphrase or rework. And that's really going to take a lot of the juice from, for example, a competitor analysis, which is very commonplace in the marketing landscape, and produce a different outcome for you, and one in which you can really up level against your competitors and hit the keywords that you're needing to. Something like B2B, for example, a lot of people find B2B marketing quite dry. I actually really enjoy it, and I think it is because I use things like LinkedIn, for example, to get some insight from my competitors, and then I can create versions of that using ChatGPT that are going to leverage the stuff that I like about the competitors and the stuff that's just so boring. So you could copy and paste something off their website, tell ChatGPT to make it interesting, then you could feed it a piece of writing that you've written and ask it to write it in that tone of voice. And then, of course, you're going to go through it yourself in any case. Please don't just copy and paste stuff that's coming out of ChatGPT. We want you to add that entrepreneurial, creative spin and all the secret sauce that makes things uniquely you, but you do not want to be starting with carte blanche like ever. You want to be using ChatGPT to do that groundwork or legwork for you and investigate a little bit more about your competitors. Similarly, if you're looking for ways in which you can label new products or services, or you want to branch out into digital products, it's going to give you fun ways in which you can name those courses, fun ways in which you can package those bundles and package it in such a way that it's going to make it just that little bit more sellable, which at its core is what content marketing is all about. And then finally, personalization. So we mentioned, of course, that you can gather a lot more information using ChatGPT because it can give you examples of questions to ask. Then you can actually employ those responses to personalize communication a little bit better. Let's say the landing page use case, you could ask someone a particular set of questions, and depending on their responses, give them a slightly different journey. So think like Goosebumps, choose your own adventure. It's a lot more possible to do this kind of stuff thanks to ChatGPT. So those are some very top line ways in which you can use ChatGPT to up up-level your digital marketing, your content marketing, and your social media marketing. If you have any more suggestions, please pop them in the comments down below. Give this video a like if you want a part 2, and I can't wait to see you in the next video so we can keep on doing digital better.